Used SUV lots are full of vehicles that look like bargains because they still offer leather, room, third rows, or a premium badge for cheap money. That is the trap. Some of these are only cheap because the next owner is about to inherit a very expensive story. In this video, we are breaking down the exact years to avoid, the risky powertrains hiding under the hood, and the reasons these SUVs turn into brutal money traps. Number 1 later in this list is one of the most common family SUVs in America, and that is exactly why so many buyers talk themselves into it without seeing the real risk. Number 8. 2014 to 2016. Land Rover Range Rover Evoque. Pretty paint, sharp lines, and a premium badge can make people forgive a lot, and that is exactly how the Evoque keeps trapping used buyers. The 2014 to 2016 Range Rover Evoque uses a 2.0-liter Turbo 4, a 9-speed automatic, and all-wheel drive, which sounds impressive on paper and expensive in the wrong way once age starts stacking up. Dealer pricing usually falls around $8,000 to $15,000, with a lot of examples in the high $8,000 to low $12,000 range. And that number is what makes people start making excuses. They see a Range Rover for used Toyota money and decide the risk must be worth it. But this is the classic cheap luxury SUV mistake. The cabin still feels upscale, the styling still turns heads, and the comfort scores better than the ownership story. That split is exactly how these vehicles fool people. Even the owner review pattern tells it. Comfort and interior impressions stay stronger than reliability and value, which is a giant warning if you are buying something old enough to be out of warranty and cheap enough to tempt the wrong buyer. What makes it bad is the combination of turbo engine wear, expensive electronic faults, and luxury-grade repair costs that hit hard once these get older and higher in miles. Complex systems, expensive parts, and a level of electronic and drivetrain dependence that does not get kinder with age. Buyers still chase it because they want the image, the seating position, the fancy feel, and the fantasy of getting a luxury badge at a discount. That fantasy is powerful. It makes people ignore the simple question, why is this thing cheap in the first place? The answer is that it still brakes like a luxury SUV, not like a cheap commuter. If you want to avoid getting trapped, do not buy one because it looks expensive. Only consider it with a full repair history, a clean inspection, and a repair fund that assumes something expensive could still happen. If you cannot afford the surprise, you cannot afford the bargain. That is how these work, and that is why this one opens the list. Number 7. 2010 to 2012. Audi Q5 2.0T. The Q5 is what happens when a used German crossover feels premium for 15 minutes, then starts charging you for that feeling for the next 2 years. The trouble zone is the 2010 to 2012 Audi Q5 with the 2.0 TEA. 888 4-cylinder, automatic, and quattro all-wheel drive. Prices usually land around $6,500 to $11,000. And that is what gets people. The cabin looks classy, the ride is quiet, the badge still carries weight, and buyers start thinking they found an affordable way into German luxury. They did not. They found delayed repair math. What makes this one bad is that the ugly stuff is already documented. Oil consumption problems, piston and ring trouble, and timing chain tensioner flaws are not mysterious complaints. They are established patterns on these early 2.0T cars, and even owner review pages talk about them in plain language. That should end the argument for most buyers, but it does not, because the vehicle still looks and feels expensive enough to cloud judgment. That is why people still buy them. They sit in the seat, shut the door, feel the silent cabin, and imagine they beat the system. Then the ownership story starts rewriting the math. A clean body and a nice dashboard do not make chain issues cheaper. They just make the first week more convincing. This is why I say the cabin ages better than the owner's bank account. The whole thing feels rich right up until the engine wants rich car repairs. The way to avoid getting trapped is brutally simple. Either skip the 2.0T entirely, or only touch one with fully documented piston, ring, and tensioner work. Not, the seller says it was fixed. Not, it runs great. Real proof. No proof. No deal. And if you're shopping because the Audi badge finally feels affordable, remind yourself that affordable to buy and affordable to own are two completely different conversations. On this Q5, that difference is exactly where people get hurt. Number 6. 2013 to 2015. BMW X3 X-Drive 28i BMW cheap is one of the most dangerous phrases in the whole used market, and the 2013 to 2015 X3 X-Drive 28i proves it. This one uses the turbocharged 2.0-liter and 24-cylinder, the 8-speed automatic, and X-Drive all-wheel drive. On the road, it feels like the nice version of a compact SUV. It is sharp, composed, premium inside, and often priced around $6,000 to $10,000, with some 2013 examples sitting right in the $6,000 zone. That sounds like a gift until you understand what kind of mechanical story is attached to that discount. BMW itself issued limited warranty extensions for the N20 and N26 timing chain and oil pump drive chain modules. Read that again and think about what kind of factory language has to exist before a used buyer should get nervous. That is not a tiny bulletin about trim noise. That is the kind of wording that belongs nowhere near a cheap luxury SUV fantasy. Owner stories say the quiet part out loud too. Timing chain stretch, plastic guide failure, and engine damage do not sound like edge cases when enough owners repeat them. That is what makes this one bad. It is not that the vehicle feels bad. It often feels great. The trap is that the satisfying steering, the upscale interior, and the BMW badge keep convincing buyers that the discount is an opportunity instead of a warning label. People still buy it because the road feel is real, the cabin still impresses, and the idea of driving a BMW SUV for ordinary used car money is hard to resist. But that is exactly how delayed repair math works. The first owner got the image and the lease. The second owner takes the risk. If you want to avoid getting trapped, skip the N20 X3 unless the timing chain work is thoroughly documented with real receipts and real detail. And even then, do not shop it like a bargain CRV. Shop it like an aging BMW that can still act like one the moment something expensive decides to happen. That is the difference smart buyers respect and emotional buyers ignore. Subscribe if you want the SUVs to avoid, not the same lazy, safe used car list every other channel keeps repeating. While people still lose money. We tell you which ones look classy, which ones fail ugly, and which bargain badges are pure fiction. Number 5. 2013 to 2018 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport 2.4 or 2.0 turbo. Nothing about this SUV looks dangerous at first, and that is exactly why it traps people. The 2013 to 2018 Santa Fe Sport with the Theta 2 2.4 GDI or 2.0 turbo engine looks like a smart family buy because the body still feels modern, the cabin feels decent, and the dealer lot price usually sits in that $6,500 to $11,000 zone, where buyers start talking themselves into risk. That is the whole problem. This thing looks safer than it is. The 6-speed automatic is not the headline here. The engines are. Hyundai service documents, recall activity, knock sensor programs, and replacement procedures all point back to the same ugly story around these engine families. And by now, that is not some hidden secret. It is a paper trail. People still buy them because the shape is good, the feature list looks strong, and the seats, screens, and general road manners make the SUV feel newer than its money. That is how buyers get caught. They shop the body and the badge instead of the engine code. One owner's comment on Edmunds basically said the vehicle had been fine other than the engine failing. And that should end the debate right there. If a family crossover can inspire that sentence, the low price is not your friend. It is a warning label. The really frustrating part is that a quick test drive often will not expose the risk. The SUV can feel quiet, comfortable, and completely normal right up until the engine catches up with it. That is why this one is so dangerous in the used market. The styling calms people down. The features calm people down. The low payment calms people down. But the engine history should do the exact opposite. Even buyers who know the Theta story still talk themselves into one because the body looks safe, the miles look fair, and the interior still feels family ready. That is exactly how money traps survive. If you want to avoid getting burned, do not buy one of these unless the recall and campaign history is ironclad, the engine story is fully documented, and you have real proof of what has been done and why. No vague promises. No, it was checked out. No, it has been perfect for me. If the paperwork is thin, walk. A cheap Santa Fe Sport can become a very expensive lesson long before it becomes an old family favorite. Number 4, 2014 to 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee Capability, style, and fake confidence sell a lot of Grand Cherokees, and the used market keeps proving it. The 2014 to 2015 Grand Cherokee, especially eco-diesel trucks and upper trims with quadra-lift air suspension, keeps looking like a luxury SUV bargain because prices can start in the $5,000 range and run into the low $11,000 range. That gets people dreaming. Leather, ride height, towing, strong road presence, and real off-road talk all rolled into one used vehicle for family sedan money. Sounds great, until it does Jeep things. The 3.6 V6 is the normal engine, but the 3.0 eco-diesel is the one that lures buyers in with torque and mileage before the repair risk gets real. The quadra-lift air suspension is a separate gamble because it gives the Jeep that plush, expensive feel right up until the system starts failing and the bills get ugly. That is also why the repair story gets ugly. Air suspension failures, electronic gremlins, and owner complaints about strange transmission behavior are exactly the kind of issues that destroy used SUV value once the shine wears off. People still buy them because the Jeep badge promises adventure. The body still looks sharp, and the cabin in the nicer trims feels far more upscale than the resale suggests. That is the trap. Great on paper, costly in reality. Edmunds owner feedback tells the story in plain language. You see, service air suspension system immediately, messages, drivetrain weirdness, and one diesel summit story that involved the truck getting stuck in third gear within the first month. That is not a small annoyance. That is the kind of ownership story that can erase the whole deal before the plates even feel familiar. Buyers also love the way these sit on a lot. They look tough, expensive, and capable even when the price says bargain. That visual confidence is exactly what hurts people. If you are trying to avoid getting trapped, skip upper trim air suspension trucks unless there is recent documented suspension work and you have a repair reserve ready. And if the price looks too good on an eco-diesel, that should make you more careful, not more excited. These trucks keep selling because they look like they can do everything. In reality, they can do everything except stay cheap once the wrong system starts failing. That mismatch between image and ownership pain is why this Jeep belongs on the list. Number 3. 2009 to 2012 GMC Acadia. Big families see this thing and instantly start doing cheap math in their heads. Third row, decent size, SUV shape, useful look, and a price that usually lands between $5,500 and $8,500. That sounds like a rescue vehicle for a tight budget. The reality is much harder. The 2009 to 2012 Acadia uses the 3.6-liter V6 and 6-speed automatic, and on paper, that still sounds normal enough. In the real world, this era, Acadia is the classic cheap family hauler that is not actually cheap. Timing chain stretch, leaks, steering issues, and the general syndrome of too many expensive things stacked into one aging family crossover make this one a serious money trap. People still buy them because they need space, they see a usable cabin, and they figure a cheap 3-row SUV is better than a minivan with no image. That emotional math hurts people. Families keep seeing cup holders, cargo room, and cheap monthly math, but they forget that one major timing chain job or steering repair can swallow a whole year of savings and leave them stranded with a crossover nobody will buy back happily. One Edmunds owner review on a 2010 Acadia tells the story perfectly. With stretched timing chains, leaks all over the place, steering trouble, and a repair estimate in the $7,000 to $8,000 range at only about 80,000 miles. That should stop most buyers cold, because once the repair estimate can equal the purchase price, you are not buying transportation anymore. You are buying a problem. The dangerous part is that this Acadia still looks useful enough to talk people into it. It has a family shape. It has the seat count. It has the illusion of a practical answer. It even has enough road presence to make buyers feel like they are moving up in size and safety. But old family crossovers, with known timing chain and leak histories, are exactly where budgets get crushed. If you want to avoid this trap, do not buy one without verified timing chain work and a very careful mechanical inspection. Not a quick parking lot glance, not a friendly seller story, a real inspection. Because the body will sell you hope while the engine and steering quietly wait to send the bill. This one proves that cheap room and cheap ownership are never the same thing. We are building this channel for buyers who would rather dodge a money pit than win a parking lot beauty contest with the wrong SUV. Number 2. 2013 to 2016, Nissan Pathfinder. Cheap 7-passenger space is one of the most dangerous bait hooks in the used market, and the 2013 to 2016 Pathfinder is the perfect example. This generation uses the 3.5-liter V6 with Nissan's CVT, and that powertrain combination is exactly why the deal can go sideways. On dealer lots, these usually land around $6,500 to $9,500, and plenty of 2014 to 2015 examples still sit in that high $7,000 lane that makes people think they found a family bargain. That is where the trap starts. What makes it bad is not mystery or internet drama. It is the long pattern of CVT complaints, repeated shutter stories, warranty extension history, and owners describing replacement transmissions, followed by the same ugly behavior again. Nissan's own class action and warranty extension materials made it clear that the Pathfinder and its JX35 cousin were part of the CVT failure pattern. Not just random owner complaints. You get 3 rows, a familiar badge, a cabin that feels decent enough, and pricing that looks far more comfortable than Pilot or Highlander money. But the second the transmission starts talking, the whole savings story collapses. One Edmunds owner on a 2014 Pathfinder described a repeated shutter problem right around 28 miles per hour. Another owner on the hybrid page flatly said the transmission had already been replaced just months into ownership. That is not a confidence builder. That is a pattern. The hard part is that a short drive may not tell you the truth. A Pathfinder can feel quiet, roomy, and completely normal on a 5-minute spin around the block. Then you get it fully warm, settle into light throttle, and the shutter, hesitation, or flare starts creeping in. If you insist on one, drive it long enough to feel everything from a stop to neighborhood speed to steady city cruising. Feel for any vibration, lazy response, rubber band behavior, or hesitation under light load. Do not trust a quick loop. Do not trust a fresh detail. And do not trust a seller who says, "That is just how CVT cars feel." No, it is not. If the transmission feels even a little strange, price the truck like a problem or walk away. Number 1, 2011 to 2019, Ford Explorer with a 3.5 V6. This one closes the list because it is not some weird luxury outlier. It is one of the most common family SUVs in America, and that is exactly why so many people keep stepping into the same buried engine bill. The Explorer I would not touch cheaply is the 2011 to 2019 model, with the naturally aspirated 3.5 V6 and 6-speed automatic. Prices are all over the place, which is part of the danger. Older examples can dip into the $6,000 range. A used 2014 often sits around average retail in the $9,000 zone. And even later examples can still look tempting enough to make buyers think they found a lot of SUV for the money. That would be fine if the big flaw were cosmetic. It is not. What makes this Explorer bad is the internal water pump design. On these engines, a water pump failure is not just another accessory repair. The pump lives behind the front cover, tied into the timing assembly, and if the failure is ignored, it can lead to coolant contamination and catastrophic engine damage. That is the kind of design that turns a normal maintenance item into a budget killer. People still buy them because the Explorer name feels familiar, the body still looks upscale enough, and the cabin gives families the room they want without luxury badge prices. That is how this trap survives. It looks normal. It looks safe. Then the pump story shows up and wrecks the math. Edmunds owner reviews spell this out in the bluntest possible way. One 2014 owner described the pump being tied into the timing chain, with a repair bill of $4,500 after the vehicle broke down with about 80,000 miles. Another owner on a 2019 described a leaking water pump and a repair of over $2,000, specifically because the pump is internal and driven off the timing chain. The way to avoid it is simple and brutal. Unless there is very clear proof that the water pump has already been replaced correctly, I would not touch one cheaply. Without that proof, you should treat the vehicle as a possible engine loss risk, not just a normal maintenance gamble. It is a countdown timer. That is why this one finishes first. One bad design decision, buried deep in a mainstream family SUV, can blow up the whole reason you bought it. Subscribe for the exact years, engines, and money traps that separate a real bargain from a used SUV that only looks cheap. Buyer rules. Here is the pattern smart buyers need to remember. Bad used SUVs usually offer space, leather, badge appeal, or luxury touches at a price that feels too easy to ignore. The low sticker is usually hiding one of three things: a bad engine family, a weak transmission, or expensive systems integration that turns one failure into three more. Shop by engine, by transmission, by owner complaint pattern, by recall or warranty extension history, and by real repair proof. Do not shop by ride height, trim badge, or the fantasy that a luxury feel for cheap money means you won. The market is not always irrational. Sometimes the low price is the most honest thing about the vehicle. That is the warning label, and smart buyers need to start reading it before they sign anything. That means asking for receipts, checking warm drive behavior, and being ready to walk away when a pretty SUV hides an ugly maintenance story behind fresh tires and a polished interior right there today. Click the next video now, because I am breaking down the cheap SUVs I would actually buy, so you get both sides before spending $1.